Let's take a look at Qualcomm. Listen, despite some boffo news coming out of its first auto investor day, the chipmaker is down about 2.6% at the moment. But we should note that as rivals NVIDIA and Intel have hit 52-week lows, Qualcomm is holding above that. CEO Cristiano Amon, this is the boffo news, saying that its design win pipeline has climbed to $30 billion, a surge from the $19 billion at the end of the June quarter. Design win typically means the company's chips will be used in a way that will result in large sales volumes. We're talking about the auto industry chips. Additionally, Qualcomm announced a deal with Mercedes-Benz. As the auto industry snaps up the company's Snapdragon digital chassis platform, will a slowing economy put the brakes on Qualcomm's growth, and how are they ready to deal with that? Joining me now, Qualcomm CEO Cristiano Amon. Well, that is really good news. We've been watching this since, 2 years ago at CES, when you said we're getting into the auto chip business.
This is an exciting time for us, and it's a record growth for Qualcomm. I cannot think of anything better to talk about the diversification of the company. And what's really happening, Liz, we're winning the future of the automotive semiconductor business. And the pipeline, just in about 2 months, 60 days, went from $19 to $30 billion, high predictability of revenues, and we're at twice what we said on our Investor Day last year. So we're excited.
I agree, but this is the year-to-date picture, and we've got an investor audience, and they're saying, okay, great, but why doesn't Wall Street see that?
Look, we can't really predict the market. I see a lot of uncertainty right now in the current environment. We see that in consumer. We did say in our last earnings call, for phone business, we saw some weakness. Maybe will persist for a couple quarters. We don't know. But the story of Qualcomm is different. It's the fundamentals of our diversification and expansion are all in place. And we saw that with automotive. We've seen that with our industrial IoT business. And we just focus on what we can control and keep building the long-term story.
Well, absolutely. But for our viewers who don't know Qualcomm intimately here, it used to be known as really a pure play smartphone chip business. And you have been there for many, many years, of course. But you looked at that and you said, oh, this is dangerous. We've got to diversify. I want our viewers to understand exactly what auto chips do. So you've got digital cockpit display. You have, car to phone absorption, or, I'm using the wrong terms here, but driver's assistance, connectivity. How about that?
Yes. Look, what is happening with our company, and that's very interesting. We always be the company setting the pace of innovation in mobile. We have a strong position in mobile, but we realize that the technology that we have can find end markets in different industries that are being transformed. Automotive is a great example of that. And what we're doing is really revolutionary. As cars are dealing with the change to EVs and electrification, and the car, it has all this computing come into the car, and the car gets connected to the cloud. What we saw was an opportunity to build something unique. Give the car companies a digital chassis platform. And that's what a Snapdragon digital chassis is. It provides them the digital cockpit experience for every screen in the car, from the dashboard, the infotainment, the rear seat entertainment, the smart mirrors. Right. It provides them with autonomy and assisted driver and connectivity with the cloud and services. And it's resonating well. The industry is embracing and is reflecting in our pipeline.
You're the chip guy. Ford on Tuesday had its worst decline, I believe, in more than a decade after it warned that the chip issue and a whole bunch of other parts issues are still stuck in a very clogged pipeline. Can you give us a window into the pipeline at the moment?
Look, let me talk about chips in general, and then I'll come back to the automotive. We're in a very fortunate situation, exactly as we predicted maybe last time, when I talk about it, we said that for us, the chip supply crisis will end at the end of the year. And that's kind of what we see right now. We have no more shortages. All the things we have done to put capacity in place are in place, and that's behind us. However, there's still shortage in the automotive industry, and that's not going to ease until sometime 2003. Now, the interesting thing when you look at the automotive market right now in this current environment, you still see that there's some pent-up demand that was not met from the shortage in the pack and is driving sales. But I believe that supply chain is going to improve as we go to 2023.
Okay. I do want to ask about, because it's been a huge topic lately ever since Vladimir Putin this week decided to invoke the "I'm not bluffing about using nuclear weaponry" comment this week. You know, when Russia invaded Ukraine, they knocked off neon supply. Neon is a crucial element that is needed when it comes to etching silicon wafers. How do you deal with something like that? And are we too dependent on certain elements and certain rare earths on countries like Ukraine and Russia and China?
Okay, that's a broader topic of discussion, and I would like to talk about this resilient of the supply chain in general. Look, the industry, we're the largest fabless company. We don't manufacture, but we are the largest customer of many of the fabs out there. And I think back then, during the Crimea invasion, I think the industry kind of understood the importance of neon, and the industry had large inventory. So neon gas has not been an issue with the semiconductor industry right now. But the bigger question is way bigger than input and neon gas. Chips are important, and it's going to be an essential part of the economic growth. Therefore, we need a geographically diversified supply chain for chips in the inputs. That's why we're being so supportive of things like the US CHIPS Act, the European CHIPS Act, because chips are important and we're going to need more of them.
Well, you guys are churning them out, so we'll be watching. Thank you, Cristiano.
Thank you. Very happy to be here.
Great to have you. Qualcomm, as I said, still holding above 118. It's now 121, which is the 118 52-week low.